Hello everyone and welcome back once again. This is your civics teacher here, and this time I am here with a new chapter of NCERT grade 8, that is Judiciary. Students, as you all know that we are a citizen of a democratic country, and in a democratic country independent judiciary system plays a very prominent role. And in a democratic country like India, laws apply equally to all people. And students, for applying these laws, a certain set of fixed procedures need to be followed when a law is violated. So, in order to enforce this rule of law, we have a judicial system that consists of the mechanism of a court that a citizen can approach whenever he or she felt that his or her law is violated. And students, as I said, that as an organ of government, the judiciary system plays a very crucial role in the functioning of India's democracy. And here in India, this judiciary system plays crucial role only because it is independent. So students, this chapter will help you to understand that what does an independent judiciary mean, and is there any connection between the court and the Supreme Court. So students, at the end of this chapter you will get the answer of all these questions here. So let's start. Now students, let's understand that what is the role of the judiciary. Students, the judiciary is the branch of government which administers justice according to law. And students, the term judiciary refers to the courts, the judges, magistrates and other support personnel who run this judiciary system. And in this judiciary system, the courts apply the laws and settle disputes and punish lawbreakers according to the law. So students, overall the work of the judiciary can be divided into the following. As the first one is dispute resolution. Students, dispute resolution or dispute settlement is the process of resolving dispute between different parties. And students, for resolving the conflicts between the different parties, the judicial system provides a mechanism between citizens and the government, between two state governments, and between the center and the state government. And students, the second important role of judiciary is judicial review. Students, judicial review means a review of government decisions by the courts of India. Or judiciary has the power to confront down particular laws that was passed by the parliament if it believes that the laws that were made by the parliament are a violation of the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. And in such case, a court with authority for judicial review may invalidate such kind of laws and government actions which violates the basic feature of Constitution. Now students, the third important role of the judiciary is upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. Students, under this, every citizen of India can approach to the Supreme Court or the High Court of their respective states if they believe that their fundamental rights have been violated in any way. Now students, let's understand that what is an independent judiciary, or what is the role of independent judiciary in a democratic country. Students, judicial independence means the ability of courts and judges to perform their duties free of influence or control by other actors, whether governmental or private. Or we can say that the independence of judiciary means the other branches of government, that are the legislature and executive. Students, means these two branches, legislature and the executive, cannot interfere in the work of the judiciary. It means that the courts are independent and they are not under the control of any other actors, whether governmental or private. And students, due to this independent judiciary, it allows the courts to play a very central role in ensuring that there is no misuse of power by the legislature as well as by the executive. And students, lastly, this independent judiciary also plays a very crucial role in protecting or safeguarding the fundamental rights of each and every citizen of a democratic country. Now students, there is a question that what is the structure of courts in India? Students, there are three different levels of courts in India, that are the local courts or district court, high court or court of appeals, and thirdly at the top, Supreme Court. Students, at the lower level, district courts are the courts where the most people interact, and this district court is sometimes also known as subordinate court, tehsil level court, etc. Secondly, high court. Students, in India, each state has a high court, and students, it is the highest court of that particular state. Now students, lastly at the top there is a court called Supreme Court, and students, the decisions made by the Supreme Court are binding on all other courts in India. And students, the Supreme Court of India is located in New Delhi. Students, as I said that in India we have an integrated judicial system, which means that decisions made by the higher courts are binding on the lower courts, like the decisions of the high courts are binding on district courts. In the same way, the decisions of Supreme Courts are binding on high courts as well as district courts. And students, in a democratic country like India, all the lower courts from the Gram Panchayat to the high courts are integrated into the Supreme Court of India. And students, this integration is through the appellate system of India. It means that any person can appeal to a higher court if they believe that the judgment passed by the lower court is not just. Like if a person believes that the decision made by the district court is not just, then in that case the person can appeal to the high court. In the same way, if a person not satisfied with the decision of the high court, then he can appeal in the Supreme Court against the decision of the high court. Now students, the next important thing that you must know that what are the different branches of the legal system. Students, this table here will help you to understand the significant differences between the criminal and civil law. Students, criminal law is the body of law that relates to crime. For example, theft, harassing a woman, dowry, murder, etc. Whereas the civil law deals with any harm or injury to the rights of an individual person. For example, disputes relating to sale of land, purchase of goods, rent matters, divorce cases, etc. And students, in criminal law, usually a person begins a case with the lodging of a first information report, means to say FIR, with the police. Then the police investigate the crime, after which a case is filed in the court. Whereas in civil law, a petition has to be filed before the relevant court by the affected party. Students, in a criminal law, if a person found guilty, then the accused person can be sent to jail as well as also fined. Whereas in the civil law, The court gives the specific relief asked for by the affected party. Now students, there is a question that does everyone have access to the court? Students, as I said earlier that we are a citizen of a democratic country, and in a democratic country like India, all citizens can access the courts. This means that each and every citizen of India has a right to justice through the courts. And here in India, the courts are available for each and every citizen of India. But students, the reality is totally different, because access to courts has always been difficult for vast majority of the poor in India. And students, why it is so? Because all the legal procedures involves a lot of money and paperwork, as well as a great deal of time. So that's why in response of this, in the early 1980s, the Supreme Court of India devised a mechanism of PIL, means public interest litigation, in order to increase the access to justice in India. And students, this PIL, means public interest litigation, allowed any individual or organization to file a PIL in the High Court or the Supreme Court on behalf of those whose rights were being violated. Or students, there is a phrase that justice delayed is justice denied. It means that justice is not carried out at right time. Then even it is carried out later, it is not real justice, because when there was a demand of justice, there was lack of justice. And students, why it is so? Because due to the extended time period that the court takes in order to make a decision. But students, in spite of this, we cannot deny the prominent role of independent judiciary in a democratic country like India, because as we discussed earlier that the independent judiciary check on the powers of the other branches of the government, that are executive and the legislature. And in fact, not only this, it also protect and safeguard the fundamental rights of each and every citizen of India. Now students, that's all about your chapter number 5, and with this topic here, your chapter number 5 is completed. Now I will be come back soon with another chapter. Till then, stay home, stay safe and stay healthy.